Top of the morning to you, everyone. This video is the second part of 10.4 Inscribed Angles. But before we move on to the second part of the section, let's do just two really quick review problems from yesterday. So the first one here says find the measure of angle B. Remember from yesterday, the theorem said that this inscribed angle here was going to be half of the measure of the intercepted arc. So the measure of angle B is 30 degrees. And the second problem says find the measure of angle H. Notice that H and G share the same arc right here, JK. So that means that they are congruent. So x is going to be equal to 2x minus 54. So negative x is equal to negative 54. So x is 54. So the measure of angle H is 54 degrees. All right, now that we're warmed up, let's jump into the next thing, which is going to be the first theorem for today. Now, this might look a little familiar because we actually did reference it in the previous video. This theorem says an inscribed angle of a triangle intercepts a diameter if the angle is a right angle. So if FH is a diameter, and this is the inscribed angle right here, and this is the intercepted arc right here, that means that FH must be a diameter if G is 90 degrees, and vice versa. Let's go ahead and take a look at an example problem for this theorem. They want us to find the measure of angle F here. To do that, we do have to know that G is a right angle, and we know that G is a right angle because J is the center of the circle, so FH is a diameter. So therefore, this arc right here is going to be 180 degrees. G is going to be half of that. It's going to be 90 degrees. So to find the measure of angle F, we could say that 4x plus 2 plus 9x minus 3 is equal to 90 degrees, because in a triangle, if one of the angles is 90 degrees, the other two have to add up to be 90 degrees as well. Now we can solve it for x. So 13x minus 1 is equal to 90. So 13x is equal to 91. So x is 91 divided by 13, which is 7. But they wanted us to find the measure of angle F, and the measure of angle F is 4x plus 2. So we're going to substitute the 7 right here. So 4 times 7, which is 28, and then plus 2 gives us 30 degrees. So the measure of angle F is 30 degrees. Here's a problem for you guys to try on your own. Go ahead and pause the video, give this problem a try, and then you can come check your answer. So in this problem here, they gave us some new measurements. And so we can say that 7x plus 2 is, if we add it to 17x minus 8, that is 90 degrees total. So now we solve it for x. So 24x minus 6 is 90. So then 24x is equal to 96. So x is equal to 4. And they wanted us to find x in this problem, so we are done. X is equal to 4. We have one more theorem for today. Here it is. Theorem 10.9 is now talking about quadrilaterals inside of a circle, or inscribed in a circle. So to be inscribed, it has to actually touch the circle on all 4 points here. It can't just be like a random quadrilateral inside like that. It has to actually touch at the 4 points. So if a quadrilateral is inscribed in the circle, then the opposite angles are supplementary. So L plus N, the angle L plus angle N, that's going to be 180 degrees because they're opposite angles. And also the measure of angle K plus the measure of angle M, also going to be 180 degrees. So that's the next theorem for today. Let's go ahead and take a look at some example problems. All right, in this first problem here, they say the necklace charm shown uses a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle. Find the measure of angle A and the measure of angle B. Well, we know that A and C are supplementary, meaning that they add to equal 180 degrees. And if C is a right angle, which is 90, then A must also be 90 degrees because 90 plus 90 is 180. So the measure of angle A is equal to 90. Now let's try to find the measure of angle B. To find the measure of angle B, we know that B and D are supplementary, so we can add the measure of angle B, which is 2x minus 30, plus the measure of angle D, which is x. And if we add those together, it equals 180 degrees because they are supplementary. Now we can solve it and find out what x is. We have a 2x plus x, which gives us a 3x. We can add 30 to both sides to give us 210. So x is equal to 70. And they wanted us to find the measure of angle B. So now we can substitute the 70 into measure of angle B. And we get 140 minus 30, which is 110. So the measure of angle B is 110 degrees. Here's a problem for you guys to try. Go ahead and pause the video, try this problem, and then you can watch it for the answer. And the answer is, drumroll please. For x, we have 120 degrees, and for y, we have 85 degrees. How did I get those answers? Well, z and x are supplementary, so if you add them, it equals 180 degrees. So 60 plus x equals 180. Subtract 60 from both sides, and you've got 120. Did the same thing for the other ones. W and y are also supplementary. So 95 plus the measure of angle y is equal to 180. If you subtract 95 on both sides, you get y equals 85. So those are the two answers. Tomorrow, you guys will be working on an IXL. I have 2 problems in this video for you so that you can see how to do the problems on the IXL, which is going to be for tomorrow. So this first problem says, what's the measure of angle EDF? So in order to know the measure of angle EDF, I have to know what this intercepted arc is, because one of the theorems that we've been learning says that the measure of this angle is half of the measure of the arc. What is the measure of arc FE? Well, I know that the measure of angle FGE is 128 degrees, and I know that that's the same as the measure of the arc, so therefore the measure of the arc is 128 degrees. So I just have to cut that in half, 128 divided by 2, and I get 64. So the answer is that the measure of angle EDF is 64 degrees. And this problem here says, what's the measure of TVU? So in order to find this angle, I could also try the same thing where I'm trying to find the intercepted arc, and then I take half of that. In order to find the measure of this arc, if I knew what this angle measure was right here, it would be the same thing. And I know that all of these together have to be 360 because all 3 are going to be in a circle. So to start off with, I'm going to say 124 plus 124 plus whatever that other angle is, that has to be 360 degrees. So I solve it to find out what the missing piece is, and I get 112. So 112 is this angle right here, which means the arc is the same thing, 112 degrees. So now that the intercepted arc is 112 degrees, to find the inscribed angle, I cut it in half. I do 112 divided by 2, and that gives me 56. So the measure of angle TVU is 56 degrees. The IXL that you guys do tomorrow is going to be, well, basically this, because I copied these problems from the IXL. So if you get stuck while you're working, go ahead and come back to the video, watch these example problems, and hopefully it'll help you a little bit. That's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day. Make sure to submit your notes onto Canvas. Bye, guys.